Very good morning, students, and welcome to the digital classroom of General Science. Dear students, today we are going to start with the new lesson number 18, Ecosystems. So let's start with the ecosystems. So students, our universe, our earth, our world is made up of mainly living and non-living factors. The living factors are called as biotic factors and non-living are called as abiotic factors, because we know that bio means living, right? So living factors and non-living factors, and these factors, they continuously interact with each other. Living organisms, their habitat, their environment, all these are related with each other. So the structure which is formed due to their interrelationship is called an ecosystem. That is, the interrelation, interreaction, reciprocal relationship between the living biotic factors and the non-living abiotic factors is called as an ecosystem. The structure of an ecosystem. What is the structure of an ecosystem? Now first, as I said, the components of the ecosystem are biotic and abiotic. Now there are different living organisms in the biotic factors. Now they are dependent upon each other. The biotic factors, they respire and they need continuous supply of oxygen. There are certain microorganisms which do not need oxygen, right? There are some plants which grow in sunlight. There are certain plants which grow in shades. Then there are abiotic factors like water, soil, sunlight, temperature, humidity. These are all the abiotic or the non-living factors of the ecosystem. Now the ecosystem, inside an ecosystem, the abiotic factors, they decide which of the biotic factors are going to survive in the given abiotic factors. Every biotic factor, it affects the abiotic factor, as well as the abiotic factor affects the biotic factor. Each and every living organism, each and every biotic factor, it plays a particular role in the ecosystem, whether it is moving, whether it is stagnant at one place, whatever activities are taking place in the biotic factors, it plays a particular role. Now, the interaction among the factors of an ecosystem, as you can say, the abiotic factors are the nutrients, solar energy, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, water and minerals. Now, we know that the plants, they synthesize the food through the process of the photosynthesis. And the four factors which are important for the process of photosynthesis are light, carbon dioxide, water and chlorophyll. Now chlorophyll is only present in the plants, and thus these plants are called as the producers, because plants are the only living organisms which can convert the solar energy into chemical energy in the form of the food. Now, The plants are called as the producers because they synthesize their food. They produce the food. Now this food is consumed by the animals. While the food is consumed by the animals, which can again be divided into different profit levels like primary, secondary, tertiary, they are called as the consumers because they consume the plants, right? If they consume only the plants, they are called as primary consumers. If they are dependent upon the other animals, they are called as secondary and tertiary consumers. Now, these animals, when they die, they get mixed with the soil and their body is decomposed. And the minerals which are present in their body in the organic forms. Whenever the minerals are present in the living organisms, they are in the organic form. Whereas when they are present in the abiotic factors, they are called as the abiotic factors or in the inorganic form. So these minerals are released inside the soil and there are decomposers, there are microorganisms, different types of bacteria and fungi which consume these dead bodies of the animals and they release the minerals in the soil. Now these minerals which are now present in the soil, they are absorbed by the plants, right? So this cycle of organic to inorganic and from inorganic to organic goes on in the nature, in an ecosystem. So the biotic factors, they converge into abiotic, then again from abiotic they convert into the biotic factor. So this is the interaction among the factors of an ecosystem, that is between the abiotic factors and the biotic factors. Now on the screen you can see the different ecosystems and in the center the word biomass is written. Now what is the meaning of biomass? Now on the earth, a large area has some climate and the abiotic factors. So the living organisms which are found in that area, they are almost similar. So in such a region, a specific type of ecosystem develops in that area and this large ecosystem is called as biomass. These biomass, they contain many small ecosystems, or we can say biomass is made up of different numbers of ecosystem. Like earth itself is a vast, huge ecosystem, right? Now on the earth, mainly there are two types of biomass found. The first one is land biomass. So in the land biomass, there are again different types of land biomass. Land biomass is the biomass which exists only on the land. As the name itself explains, land biomass, the biomass which is present on the land. Now there is an unequal distribution of abiotic factors because of which different types of ecosystems in the land biomass are found. The very first one is grassland ecosystem. Grassland ecosystem is an ecosystem where the rainfall is quite less and thus the big trees do not grow in that area. And in the vast area of this land biomass, only the grass is grown. And here the summer season is very long and the rain is very limited. And due to this, only the dwarf grasses or the dwarf plants, they are found in these areas. And in such a grassland, the animals which are herbivorous, it's not a new term for you students. So the herbivorous animals like goat, sheep, giraffe, zebra, elephant, deer, all these are found in ecosystem. Similarly, there are different birds, insects and microbes or microorganisms also present in a grassland ecosystem, as you can see in the picture. Next is evergreen forest. As the name itself explains, evergreen forest. The forests which are always green, thick, dense forest, they are called as the evergreen forest. Now, it is the evergreen forest, it is a natural ecosystem where the varieties of plants, animals and the abiotic factors are found. Then next is aquatic ecosystem. Now, aquatic ecosystem means the ecosystem which is present in the water. Because aquatic, when we say, the word aquatic means in the water. We had studied about the aquatic animals and aquatic plants, right? The animals and plants which are found in the water, and they are also called as aquatic flora and fauna. Now we know students that 70% of the earth surface is covered by water, which is shown by blue color, and only 29% is the land, right? And thus, as the aquatic animals, aquatic flora and fauna, they occupy 71% of the earth, so the aquatic biomass becomes very, very important. And because the area is very wide, the aquatic biomass is very widely spread. Now, the aquatic ecosystems are of different types. Like the very first one, we will start with freshwater ecosystem, right? Then there is marine ecosystem, and then there is creek ecosystem. So first one, freshwater ecosystem. Now freshwater ecosystem means the ponds, lakes, rivers, they are included in the freshwater ecosystem. And here the energy is transformed through these ecosystems through the water currents. Here also the decomposers are present at the bottom of the water reservoirs, and the dead bodies of the plant and animals, they are converted into the abiotic factors with the help of the decomposers. Then, so this is all about the freshwater ecosystem, in which the ponds, lakes and rivers are included, where the fresh water is there. And here also the abiotic and biotic factors are there. The functions of the abiotic and biotic factors are same in whichever ecosystem they are present. The function of the decomposers is also the same, to decompose the dead bodies of plants and animals. So the decomposers present in the freshwater ecosystem, they decompose the aquatic flora and fauna after their death, and thus from the organic to inorganic, from living to non-living. The next one is marine ecosystem. Wow, beautiful, colorful animals, plants. Students, if you really want to enjoy the marine beauty, then you should watch the Discovery Channel. Okay, so apart from that, let's start with the marine ecosystem. Now, marine plants, they grow in the marine ecosystem. Now here in the shallow waters of the marine ecosystem, the small fishes, prawns are found, and these, they feed upon the algae, the green colored plants. And the major part of the sea has the less number of aquatic living organisms, and the big fishes are the secondary consumers, whereas the small fishes, they are the primary consumers. And the bed of the oceans, they have a vast amount of nutrients present in it. And here in marine ecosystem, the beds of the oceans, they contain a very large number of decomposers. So the dead bodies of animals and plants in a marine ecosystem are decomposed by number of bacteria. Then the next topic which we are going to start in this lesson is diminishment of ecosystem due to human interference. Now, you know, students, man or human beings, they perform so many activities which have many adverse effects on the ecosystem, and thus we the human beings and our activities are responsible for the diminishment of the ecosystems. Now, what are the activities? What you can see in the picture? Mining, the very common activity, right? And in the second one, you can see deforestation. The major reason behind deforestation is the very fast growing population, and because of this growing population, the forests are cut and the cement forests are growing, right? So the different human activities, they have very adverse effect on the ecosystems, and they transform the ecosystem into the extinction of many of the species of the trees, of the plants, as well as the animals. Now here we will start with one by one the activities which are responsible for the diminishment of ecosystems. The very first activity is excessive use of resources due to increasing population. Now, as I said, our population is increasing day by day, and thus the needs, the requirements for this population is also increasing. And we human beings, we are just snatching the natural resources on a very large scale, and thus our lifestyle, which demands more than the basic needs, and due to this, the ecosystem has generated a vast amount of waste. So this is the first factor which is responsible for the diminishment of ecosystem. Second one is urbanization. Now, due to urbanization, the agricultural land, wetland, forest, grasslands, they are being destroyed for the constructions of the buildings and the basic facilities which are required around the residential areas. Now, because we are interfering in the natural balance of the earth, of the ecosystem, the changes which take place, they completely destroy many of the ecosystems. Then third factor is industrialization and traffic. Now we know that the industrialization, the different industries, they need raw materials, and these raw materials are acquired from the forest by cutting the forest, right? So this results in deforestation or destruction of the forest. And to provide the basic necessities, the traffic is increased, the number of vehicles has increased, the roads are to be built, the railways are to be built, and all these take place through the forest and wetlands. And thus the industrialization and the ever growing traffic is also one of the cause for diminishment of ecosystems. The next is tourism, which is growing at a very faster rate. Now people, they visit places to enjoy the scenic beauty, to watch the nature, and of course for the entertainment. We also visit the sacred places and the monuments. And as a particular place becomes tourist area, tourist place, the amenities are also to be developed for the people, for the tourists, they come there. Now again, this disrupts the balance in the nature, and the human beings, they destruct the local ecosystem to provide the basic necessities to the tourists. Next is the dams. Dams are really a very crucial factor which are responsible for the diminishment of ecosystem. Now dams, they cover a vast area, and thus the forest or the grassland, they are converted into the aquatic ecosystem. See the drastic change from the grassland, they are converted into the aquatic ecosystem, due to which the water current in that area also goes down, and thus the aquatic ecosystem which was surviving there earlier, that is completely destroyed due to the increased amount of water. The last but not the least is wars. Wars is, you can, if you are watching the TV, students, the wars are the worst factor which is responsible for diminishment of ecosystem. Now the differences and the competitions over the land, over the rivers, over the water, the mineral resources, then economic reasons, then there are political reasons because of which the war takes place between the human races. The bombardment takes place, the mine explosions are done in wars, and this is not only a life-threatening cause for the change, it is also a very important factor which destroys the natural ecosystem. Then there are the natural disasters, natural calamities like earthquake, volcano, floods, droughts, and the human interferences, due to which the diminishment of ecosystem takes place. So students, with this we finish with the lesson that was ecosystem, and we will start the workbook exercise of this lesson in the next science lecture. First we will start. So students, in the next digital classroom, we are going to start with the workbook exercise of this very same lesson. And please, it's a humble request, come prepared with the answers. All the answers are there in the textbook itself. And I hope you had completed the previous lessons workbook exercise. Take care of yourself. Stay home. Stay safe. Thank you.